Hi, Brother Jackson. This is our Pokemon final. First, I'm going to take you through our game control that shows the difference between a static and non-static function. So in the game control here, the game control is like the blueprint, and right here, the create player function. This is static, so that means that the create player function can be called wherever we want in the game. And we would just have to say the class dot create player. Whereas if it was a non-static function, we would have to state the object first, and then we'd have to create the object and then reference create player instead of just having its class name dot create player. So static does make it easier, but sometimes it makes it a little bit harder. But that's my example of static and non-static. The next one is when to use an array, array list, and an enum. So an array is a fixed length list of objects, or like integers, floats, booleans, that can be changed. So my first example is in the game control, where it's the get average health value. Where'd it go? It's down here. Okay, so this is an array right here that I created on my individual assignment. So the reason why it is an array is because all the health values are the same, but they can be changed, and it'll be passed through an array of multiple Pokemons. So this get average Pokemon health values is going to be sorted, and this equation right here says that for every nth Pokemon, their health, it adds each one, adds each of the health values to the average, and then once it's done getting each of the Pokemon's health values, it divides it by the length. So the reason this is an array is because they're the same and they can be changed once it passes through. For an array list, we have one over here. Sorry, I lost it for a second. Okay, right here. And the print, sorry, in the item. Oopsies. Okay, this is an array list right here. The set total item list. The difference with an array list is just so that it fits. It's really similar to an array in that it kind of explains it better right here. So unlike an array, it has more, okay, sorry. An array list has the list of different data types instead of just one data type. It's a list of the same exact type of data types that won't change. So that's the difference, is that array list is not going to change. So this set total item list, the numbers are always going to stay numbers. And so that's why it is an array list, because it has to stay the same type of list. But for the enum, we have in the map control, it's right here. The enum is in a public enum scene type. We didn't originally have an enum in our program, so we just created the scene type enum, and it is shown right up here. So it kind of acts like an array, but when we create the scenes, we know that they'll never change. So the ENA makes it so that we can reference objects in an array by their name dot ordinal value as opposed to the index bracket I of an array. So that's what the ENA is doing in our program right here. But we didn't originally have one, so we had to add that part in. And then for the throw, propagate, and catch custom runtime errors, my example is in the healing menu that I created in my individual assignment in the super potions. So right here for our super potion and get double number. So right here we created the, so we have super potions, and since we had to add the double number in, so what this part is doing is it's pushing up. So for propagating first is that it's pushing it up in like a pyramid. So the errors are being pushed up each time. And so so for the double, repetition is being used to continue prompting the user for input. But so it loops around, and when we first get the value that the user entered on the console and then trim off all the leading trailing blanks. So this parse double right here, it's called to convert the string value, and it turns the string value into a double type number. This call is placed inside the try catch statement so that we can detect when right here, the number format exception is thrown. So we took out our throw values later on in our program, but this is where it catches it. And so the number format exception, it's thrown by the parse double function when the string value passed to the parse double function does not contain a character. So when it doesn't contain a character, this exception is then caught and handled by the catch clause. So right here when it's caught, so it catches it when there's an error is displayed. So it's going to display you're not allowed a super potion unless you're a real witch. If the string value passed through the parse double function is converted correctly into a double number, none of the exception error is thrown, and the control exits the loop and the number is returned to the calling function. So that is what the try catch runtime error is showing right here. It is catching it. And then so the purpose of this is to catch all of our errors because it evens out the process. So this is my example of propagating and throwing and catching runtime errors because when we ran it, this is where the error showed up in this error view display right here. We changed them all from sister.output so that we know that every time we have the error in that this is what it's going to output, and we kind of had some fun with that right there. And then lastly, next we have the character stream class versus the byte string class. So the character string class is used when we use a text to file. The difference is the character is from text to file and the byte is data to file. And we did that in the item list view right here. And so right here is the save item list to file. Right here is where they enter the file that's going to be saved. And this array list right here is going to, it's taking the list of items and making them return the total item list. So it's going to print out the item list report right here. It's going to tell it to print out the report by getting the list of items and the file path. So once we put the file path in and the list of items out here, it's going to print the item list report. And so this item list report that it's going to be pulling from right here is this right here. Just tells it where to print, and it takes the item list that was saved above. And then for the for if statement, for every time it gets a description and a heal power, it's going to print it out at the end of this function. So this print item list right up here in the save item list to file function, it's going to pull the print item list report, and that's when it's going to run it and print it out. And it shows it in our menu option when we put in potion. When we print it out, it shows all the potions and the heal powers. Actually took a while to do that, and it was really neat. And lastly, my favorite part is showing the fully implemented game. Let's see. Okay, let's go up here. We're going to run the fully implemented game. Let's okay. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so right here, we're going to type my name in. There's this 14 for some reason. I'm going to start the new game. I'm going to view the map. This is the part that was the hardest to make. So here we're right at home. We're going to go south. And it goes to the mountain. And we're going to move east. It goes to the forest. And we're going to move north. And it goes up in a circle just like that. That's really the most difficult part of the program that we did. We have the main menu that we made, the Pokemon list. We can access the view map. We can go anywhere on the map that we want to. We can pick up the items that we want. When we go into the healing menu, we can pick what we want to be healed. We can save the game when we explore the square. If we go right here, let's do explore. It says an item was found, so it found an item right there, and that just shows the end product of our program, where we were able to find the item, and that was the main goal of this whole program, was to move around and to find the item. So we thank you for this opportunity to teach us all of this, and it was really hard to explain all this, but thanks for being patient and for helping teach me about Java, because I wouldn't have learned it without you, Porter. So thank you, and here's our Pokemon game final.